going through the original quiz. Um, Listen, pause the video whenever you need to. Okay, check through these questions that you have missed so that you can see the correct way to solve them and then fix your own. Okay, so apply what you see me do to the problems that you missed. Right. All right, so first off, on this quiz we have finding the slope. Slope should always be a fraction. A lot of you tried to answer this question with a decimal. Don't do that. Slope should always be a fraction because we need to know the two things. We need to know the vertical distance and the horizontal distance, okay? So here, find the slope using the slope formula. Well, remember the slope formula, I'll write that down again just in case you forgot, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? So what that means is we subtract the y's on top, we subtract the x's on the bottom. Every ordered pair lists out the x value first and the y value second, right? So when I'm setting up these subtractions, I have to subtract the second number in each parentheses on top. So I'm going to do for this A problem 16 minus 4 over 12 minus 15. Now 16 minus 4 is 12. 12 minus 15 is negative 3, and then that can be simplified. I didn't count it wrong if you didn't simplify, right? But we always need to simplify. So simplified, because 3 goes into both of these, that would be negative 4 over 1. That's it. Okay, I would have even counted just plain old negative 4. That would have worked too. All right, because we know to make any whole number into a fraction, you just put it over 1. Right? For B, same thing. I'm going to subtract the y values on top. So that would be negative 7 minus 0. I'm going to subtract the x values on the bottom. That's 11 minus a negative 3. Now, some of you miss these problems because of the negatives, right? You're supposed to subtract everything, but if it's a negative, subtracting a negative like what we have right here is the same thing as adding a positive, right? So yeah, negative 7 minus 0 is still negative 7, but 11 plus 3, because 11 minus a negative, that's really like 11 plus 3, is 14. And then that simplifies to negative 1/2. And then last but not least, for C, I should have 5 minus negative 17 over negative 2 minus negative 18. Okay, so this is really saying 5 plus 17, which gives me 22. This is really saying negative 2 plus 18, which is 16. And then that simplifies to 11 over 8. The most common mistakes I noticed with this one were people switched what was supposed to be on top and what was supposed to be on the bottom. But then I also noticed that we messed up with the negatives quite a bit. Okay, use your calculators if you need to. All right, for the next question, you match each graph of a linear relationship to a situation that most reasonably reflects its context. So here for A, for lowercase a, it says y is the weight of a kitten X days after birth. So when I'm looking at this, I realize the weight of the kitten is not going to start at 0. So I can cross out A. I know it's not going to be A, right? It's not going to start at 0. When it's born, it weighs something, okay? And then it's going to increase after that. Well, the only one that starts above the origin and increases is B, right? For the next problem, it says, y is the distance left to go on a car ride after X hours of driving at a constant rate toward its destination. So if you're going toward your destination, that means your distance is getting smaller, right? If you're going towards something, how far you are away from it gets shorter and shorter and shorter. So that number goes down. And the only graph that's going down from left to right is D. For the next one, it says y is the temperature in degrees C, of a frozen object being warmed in a laboratory experiment. So something frozen, that's telling me it's starting below 0, and then it's being warmed up. It's getting, the temperature is increasing, going up, and that's C that represents that. And then finally D, it's the only one that's left, but let's read it anyways. Y is the amount of calories consumed eating X crackers. So yeah, before you've eaten any crackers at all, obviously you've consumed 0 calories, so it's going to start at 0. And then as you eat more crackers, it's going to go up at a constant rate, right? Now on the retake, for these, you had to create your own stories. What I was looking for is that you had something in your story that represented where the graph was beginning, so the y-intercept, the beginning point. But then also, were you showing that it was going up at a constant rate if we had these ones that were the positive slope, or for the instance of graph D here, were you showing that it had a negative constant rate, so that something was going down? All right. For the next question, very similar to the retake question. It says here, Jack went trick-or-treating and has some candy bars left in his bag. Every day, he eats the same amount of candy bars. So I'm going to look at this y-intercept. That's what I'm going to put first in the table, right? When x equals 0, that is the y-intercept. So where is this on the y-axis? And I can see a dot right there at 30. So at 30, at 0 days, he has 30 pieces of candy. And then the next spot in the table says, well, what about at 2 days? So I go to 2 days, right? Go to 2 days right here, and I look up until I get to that point, and it's at 26. So I'm going to put in 26 there, and then I start to notice something. It's going down by 4s every 2 days over. So this would be 22, 18, 14, and 10. Okay, at 10 days there are 10 pieces of candy, or 10 candy bars left. To write an equation that represents this situation, I have to write it as y equals mx plus b, because that's what they give us in this graph. They give us b. Remember, b, I'll use a different color for this, b is the y-intercept, or the beginning point. Okay, that's where the graph crosses the y-axis. M is the slope. Well, from the graph, they give us both of those things. They give us the y-intercept. It's right here at 30. So b is 30. And then I can find the slope pretty easily. There we go. I just drew a slope triangle from one point to the next. Okay, now what's my vertical distance? Because remember, slope is always vertical over horizontal, right? The vertical distance divided by the horizontal distance. I'm not counting by ones, and a lot of us miss this because of that. I'm not counting by ones. If I look here, I'm counting by 2s. So don't just say that the height, the vertical distance is 2. It's not. It's not. It's 4. And then down on the x-axis, I am counting by 1s. So when I see that it goes over 2 grid lines, that really is just going over 2. Okay, so my slope is 4 over 2. The vertical distance is 4, the horizontal distance is 2. Now 4 divided by 2 simplifies, right? 4 divided by 2 is 2. So my slope is 2. My y-intercept is 30. That makes my equation y equals 2x plus 30, except I notice the line's going down from left to right. Right? If I connected all these points, my line is going down from left to right. Well, I missed a bunch of those points. So it's a negative slope. Don't forget the negative. A lot of us forgot the negative. Okay? Just like I said we would. Don't forget to put the negative when the line's going down from left to right. And then to answer the next question, after how many days are the candy bars gone? That would mean the candy bars, so look at your table, right? That would mean the candy bars goes to 0. When do the candy bars go to 0? Well, if that's represented by y, then I'm going to use my equation to answer this question. I'm going to put in 0 for y, and I'm going to leave everything else the same. So now it's 0 equals negative 2x plus 30 instead of y equals negative 2x plus 30. And I'm just going to solve for y, or for x. Okay, I'm going to subtract 30 from both sides. I get negative 30 equals negative 2x, and then I'm going to divide by negative 2. Well, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So my answer is 15 days. Okay, and I showed my work. All right, for number 4, it says draw a line with the given slope through the given point. We struggled with this one, guys. All right, so point A, and I have to have a slope of 3. So point A is right here. Okay, if my slope is 3, that means I need to make it into a fraction because I need to know the vertical distance and the horizontal distance. Right, vertical distance is on top, so I'm supposed to go up 3. Well, I can't really do that. It goes off the graph. But I can go backwards. I can go down 3. Let me show you this. From A, I can go down 3. 1, 2, 3. And to the left 1. And I can put a point right here. Because 1, 2, 3, 1. If you look, now from this point, 1, 2, 3 over 1. I go up 3 and over 1. Okay? And then I needed to see that you could use a ruler and connect those. Now, what I like to do is keep doing it. I keep doing the slope from the point until I can't go any further. That helps me with my ruler. That helps me make a nice straight line. Okay? From this point here, I'm going to go down 3 again. 1, 2, 3, and to the left 1. And I'm going to do it again. 1, 2, 3, and then to the left 1. Now I have all of these points that I can connect with my ruler, and I know I'm going to get a better line than if I wouldn't have done that. Okay? There. Now I've got A done. For B, it says go from point B with a slope of 1/4. Well, here's point B. For a slope of 1/4, that means my vertical distance is 1, so I'm going up 1, it's positive, and then I'm going to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my next point for B. So I'm going to put that on there. And I can do it again, right? This is helping me make better lines. Go up 1 and to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I can connect those and get a nice straight line. All right, for the next one, for point C, now I have a negative slope. So from point C, which is right here, I'm supposed to go down 1. Since it's a negative now, I go down 1 and to the right 2. That would be my next point. And I've got lots of room to do this again and again and again, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Down 1 to the right 2, well, there's already a point there from this line, but I'll just darken it in a little bit more. Down 1 to the right 2, hey look, I hit point E. Down 1 to the right 2, right there. Down 1 to the right 2, just past point B. Down 1 to the right 2, and down 1 to the right 2. That's a lot of points, but look how nice and easy it is for me to make a straight line now. Okay? Go ahead and, whoa, completely miss it, apparently. With the magic of the iPad, make a nice straight line. And then finally, for the last one, for D, it says from point E. Well, point E, I already put a point on there because my line from C went through it, is right here. And it's a negative slope again. It says negative 2/3. So I'm going down 2, 1, 2, and to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. Look at that. I hit point B. But I've got room to do it again, so I'm going to do it again. down 2, and to the right 3. That gives me a nice set of points to make this line that goes through point E. Okay, this is what I should have seen. Lines that go all the way across the graph because you had rulers. Use the rulers to make the line go all the way through the graph. Don't just go and make one point and have the line stop there. Okay, especially those of you that don't use the rulers. Yeah, if it didn't hit the point that it was supposed to hit, you missed it. I counted it wrong. Use the rulers. Use the tools that you have available to you. All right, next page. Now it's the opposite. They have the line drawn for us. We have to come up with the equation. Okay, for line L, the first one. Okay, remember, I'm going to write this down again. My equation should be y equals mx plus b because I'm getting it from this graph, so I'll be able to find the slope and I'll be able to see where the y-intercept is. Line L is this line right here. Okay, it's that horizontal line. Now, a horizontal line only crosses the y-axis. A horizontal line doesn't ever touch the x-axis. So your equation should just have a y in it. It's just y equals, and then it's wherever it crosses the y-axis at, and I can see that it crosses the y-axis right here at 4. So my equation is just y equals 4. It's a special graph. It doesn't have an x in it. Just like I'm going to skip down right now and do this one down here. I'm going to do line P because it's another special graph, right? It's this vertical line. It never touches the y-axis. It's parallel to it. So my equation is only going to have x in it. And it's just going to be x equals, and then whatever the x value is where it crosses the x-axis, and I can see it crosses the x-axis right here at -4. Now for all the other ones, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this y equals mx plus b. Okay, I need to find the slope for m. That would be this black line right here. I know on your quiz they were all black lines, but I'm going to look at this line right here. I can tell it has a negative slope, which a lot of you missed. Okay, and I can see that it crosses the y-axis at 4, just like line L did. Okay, so I'm actually going to use that as one of my points to find the slope. I'll use that one, and it looks like that's a good point to use as well. So here, for my slope triangle, I can see I went down 4 and to the right 2. So my equation is y equals down 4 to the right 2, -4 over 2. Well, -4 over 2, 4 divided by 2 is 2, right? We had that earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and just write that as -2x plus 4. That 4 is the b, the y-intercept. That's where it crosses the y-axis. For the other one, for line N, that's this line right here, this green line. It has a positive slope. Looks like it crosses the y-axis right here at -1. So that's going to be my b, is -1. But I need to find the slope. So let's pick 2 points. I'm going to use that as one of my points. And then, well, I could use any point because they cross through on all of them. So I'll just use the very next one. Okay, my slope triangle is just up 1 and over. My slope is just 1. It's a positive 1. So my equation is y equals 1x minus 1 because it crosses down here at -1. All right, moving on. For number 6, it says select all the points that are on the graph of the line 2x plus 4y equals 20. Show your work. Okay, all I have to do is take this x value and this y value from each of these ordered pairs and put them into the equation to see if it makes the equation true or not. That's how I determine if it's on the graph of the line. I don't actually graph it. I can't actually graph it. It's not telling me the slope or the y-intercept. It's not in the right format. So I can't graph it. What I can do is put in these coordinates and see if it makes the equation true. So for the first one, for A, I'm going to rewrite the equation, 2x plus 4y equals 20. And I'm actually going to do that for all of these. Let's duplicate that. And let's duplicate that. I'm going to do that for all of these. And then I'm going to rewrite the equation with those values for x and for y put in there. So for this first equation, that means 2 times 0 plus 4 times 5 equals 20. For the next equation, that's 2 times 1 plus 4 times 2 equals 20. And for the last one, that's 2 times 2 plus 4 times 4 equals 20. And then I just need to simplify them to see if it actually makes the equation true or not. Any number times 0 is 0. 4 times 5 is 20. 0 plus 20, does that equal 20? Yes, it does. I'm going to circle that as one of my answers. Okay. For the next one, 2 times 1 is 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Does 2 plus 8 equal 20? No, 2 plus 8 equals 10. So no, I'm not going to circle that one. And then for the last one, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Is 4 plus 16 equal to 20? Yes, it is. There's my other answer. That's how you show your work. You plug in those values from the ordered pair into the equation to see if it makes the equation true. Last page. This one, we had to come up with all the different combinations that work so that Jada can buy, or so that Jada can spend all of her $15. So what I notice here is she's got hot dogs for $3 each and sodas for $2 each. So I'm going to make a table right away. So I've got hot dogs and sodas. And you just start going through some different combinations. I mean, if she buys, I notice hot dogs cost $3. So she could get 5 hot dogs and not get any sodas, because 5 times 3 is 15, and then she just wouldn't have any money left for soda, right? Because sodas cost $2, she can't buy just sodas, right? She could buy 7 sodas because they cost $2 each. 7 times 2 is 14, but that's not spending all of her $15. So that doesn't work. So she has to buy a combination of all of these for all of these other ones. There's actually only 2 other points that work. Okay, what if she only buys 4 hot dogs? Well, 4 hot dogs is 4 times 3 is 12. And since sodas are $2, that doesn't work. What about 3? If she buys 3 hot dogs, that's $9 because 3 times 3 is 9. That leaves her $6 left to get to 15. Oh, since sodas are $2 each, she could buy 3 of them. So yeah, 3 and 3 works. 3 hot dogs and 3 sodas works. And then what if she buys 2 hot dogs? Well, 2 times 3 is 6. That leaves her with, to get to 15, 9. And since 2 doesn't go into 9, that doesn't work. And then finally, what if she only buys 1 hot dog? 1 times 3 is 3. Take that away from 15. That leaves her with $12. Yes, she could get 6 sodas. So 1 and 6. Okay. There. I came up with all the combinations. It says graph the combinations below, label the x and the y axis. Well, since I listed hot dogs first, that's going to be my x, and then sodas would be my y. It didn't matter how you did it. You just had to match up with how you wrote out the combinations. So hot dogs are my x, so I'll put that down here. Hot dogs, and sodas are my y. So I'll put sodas there. And I just graph these combinations, right? 5 hot dogs, 0 sodas makes this point right here. That's 5 hot dogs, but I didn't go up at all. So I'm still on 0 for the sodas, right? 3 hot dogs and 3 sodas. So 3 is this point right here. And then 1, 6. So 1 hot dog and 6 sodas. And those are my points. And then you could use your ruler. I'll use the magic of the iPad to draw a nice straight line. Okay. All right. And then this was the hard part, write an equation for this situation. So this was a little different. Okay. This, I'm actually going to use what the hot dogs cost, which was $3, and multiply that by how many hot dogs she buys or is able to buy, plus the cost of the sodas, which was $2, multiplied by the number of sodas that she was buying. And that has to equal the total amount of money that she has to spend. Okay, I'm not writing this equation as y equals mx plus b. You could, but it's actually more difficult because you look here at the y-intercept, it's like it's in between two numbers. How are you going to know if you got it exactly right or not? It's just easier to use the price of the hot dogs multiplied by the number of hot dogs she buys. That's what H represents. And then add that to the cost of soda multiplied by the number of sodas she's able to buy. That's what S represents. And set that equal to the total amount of money that she has to buy. And we did a couple of those in our assignments. All right, fix your quiz. If you still have questions after watching this, let me know and I will help you.